And this is how the main assembly starts. It's a real to put together. I broke some stuff. The fit here lacks any kind of authority. This video comes to you in cooperation with PCBWay, ICM and MRP paints. Well, the instructions are back on the bench, which means that some construction is going to happen. The instrument panel locks inside the shroud very nicely and easily. This is a very well engineered fit and I have absolutely no issues with it. I just need to paint this because I forgot about it. And finally I get to check something out of the instructions. Next up, controls. For the rudder pedals I'm going to use super glue. The assembly is kind of flimsy, so the speed is welcome. These pedals will be very easy to put in correctly at an angle. There is nothing to show you how to put them. Okay, with the pedals in place, I will do some weathering because I do not know where exactly they will stay. So just a little bit of silver color pencil to suggest tiny bit of wear underneath the pedals. Right, I think this is enough. Now the control sticks. Alright, next come the collective levers. So far everything is fitting very nicely. Taking shape. Are you ready for the instrument panel? Some super glue and time to carefully put it in, and it starts to look nice and busy. And in this general area we have a small joystick. There we have it. Cool, let's do the seats. There is really no access to this corner to be pushed or seen with any degree of certainty, so it is what it is. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. Most of you know them for custom PCBs, but they also offer professional 3D printing services. Whether you are after a resin, SLS or even metal parts, PCBWay delivers high precision results perfect for model building or custom tools. Uploading your design is easy. Just head to their website, choose your material and get an instant quote. No back and forth, no surprises. If you are into customizing your builds or prototyping parts, definitely check them out. Link is in the description. The information about the position of the ammo boxes is a bit vague in my opinion, so let's see how they will go down. And on the next page we can have a little bit better understanding of where they should go. Here I'm going to use gel type super glue so I can have a little bit more time for adjustments. Next up, it is time to mount the sidewalls. Here we have these tabs, and as far as the angle goes, I'll try to line up these edges right here. To be totally honest, I'm not sure that this is the way to build this, but I suppose that it will become obvious if it was or it was not. Now here we have a little bit of a battle between the lever and the sidewall, which is rather unfortunate. A little bit of scalpel blade work and this is fixed, but first I will take a little bit of paint and hide this spot. Next I will install the seat hangers, or hangers in general. Probably other things can be hung. And those are done. If I have to be honest, I'm not really looking forward for the next step, which is to start assembling the seats in their positions. I hope super glue will be my friend here, but the most issues I expect when it comes to gluing the seats to the floor, because I will not have much access to deal with the legs. On the 3-seat bench I will use Mr. Cement S, because I want to have the time and the opportunity to melt the plastic together, because with the super glue I am not really able to push the seat frames inside these holding mechanisms. I may strengthen the joint with some super glue just in case, but for now I think this is good. This second row is a real to put together. Excuse my French. I broke some stuff. I'll probably break some more in the process, but we'll think for that later. For now I just want to get those stupid things in position and be done with it. I would like to thank all the amazing people who support me on Patreon. You guys are awesome. I don't know if you noticed this, but I don't like this seat arrangement. Finally, with this set of seats out of the way, we can go ahead and make the floor and the ceiling. Gingerly holding everything together. There will be some persuasion of the sidewall details so they can fit right by the tabs. Mr. Cement SP for quick welding action, so that I don't have to hold these pieces together forever. The next task will be to fix all these troop seat legs in position. This will not be especially easy. It is doable, to some extent. Also, I will need to replace or reinstate rather the broken ones. That will be a bit more difficult, but I'll try to put all of them back on. At this point there is some access. It's not going to be easy, but one by one I will make sure that the legs are where they need to be. Now of course I'm not going to bother you with all, because there is no need to. It is repetitive, but also the visibility is not that great, especially for those which are deeper inside the cockpit. The next task at hand will be to mount the rear bench, and I don't see it as any easier than the fronts. Maybe a tiny bit because we have a better access, but still they move around, don't line up perfectly because of that. And I will start fixing them one by one. The holes in which the frames go are not exactly perfectly sized so that the frames can go in and stay put, so that doesn't make things easier or less frustrating. Okay, the top part of the frame is mounted. Now let's glue in the legs. There is some tension. It's never good to glue parts together with tension, but sometimes there is no way. And finally, this is it. The cabin is successfully assembled. Now we lost a lot of visibility, but that was expected more or less, and we will lose some more because the doors are smaller. But now let's move on to the fuselage assembly. Now the assembly between the fuselage half with the rear bulkhead and the interior has some grooves here and here, but they're pretty shallow, so they don't hold the model in place very nicely. I mean, it's not like it doesn't need glue or anything, so I will be very careful with the glue application, and I will do the gluing little by little. When I'm sure that one side is properly fitted in place, I will apply glue and then we'll move on to the next part. Now the seats continue to be pain in the rear end because the rear portion of our cabin is not really sturdy. It flexes and moves, and this is not something you want when it comes to assembly, or at least I don't want such events to happen. And here we have it. After a little bit of massaging, the cockpit is inside the left fuselage half. Now it's very important not to forget about the tail wheel. Now it is time to put on the tail wheel, and for this task I will facilitate Tamiya's multi-purpose cement. This is only because I need to have more time to adjust the part and then to adjust the two fuselage halves. And while this is happening, if I cannot adjust the wheel, I will have trouble, which is something that I don't want. Hence this slow setting multi-purpose cement. The fit here is not exactly... The fit here lacks any kind of authority, so it is more or less going to be a fight. As you can see, I am having a lot of trouble. Now this pin is going into a hole which would suggest that this hole is somehow accepting the pin. However, this is absolutely not the case. The pin is not getting into the hole at all, although I did drill them out, but the pin is not the same diameter. It's slightly conical, and this will make things even more difficult because now I have to hold the wheel in place on the fuselage half and then hope that I will be able to match it with this. And that all will have to be done essentially blindfolded, because I have no way to see what's going on inside the tail. Unfortunately, we have another frustrating aspect of this kit. Now this is obviously not correctly in, and I cannot get them together even if I squeeze them with all my hands, all my strength. This is not how it should be done. Now I'm going to snap a little portion of the pin and a little bit of the back one, and I'll give it another try. I don't know, it doesn't move too much, it looks centered, so if you'll forgive me, I will go ahead and start gluing the tail as it is, and later I will add some filler to fix the gap. Moving on, the top portion of the tail is open-ended here, which is a good thing because it will take the slack if there's any misalignment. no dice. So I'll have to apply the glue from the painted side. A rather large gap formed right here, and later I will speculate on maybe why it happened like that, but let's continue gluing. As you can see, on the front bulkhead we have no issues with gaps, which is an excellent thing, but I managed to break the armored panel. Next up, our instruction leads us to some hole drilling in the belly portion of the helicopter. So I'm going to do just that. 0.8 millimeter is the recommended drill bit size. The holes are already halfway there, so it takes almost no time. To deburr the exit holes, I will use a oversized drill bit, and this happens very quickly with very good results. Part B8, which is going to house the radar, the LiDAR, or whatever it is suffering from some flash on the front side. So before I glue that in, I'm going to make sure that it is nice and clean. The same is true for the hosting opening. But the way that the fit is designed is very good. It just slots in place. Some glue and we are good to go. Of course, make sure that all is aligned. Here I used way too much glue. Alright. Next in line is part C8, which is also one of those parts which just fit perfectly. Parts C4 and C5 make the LiDAR. Very easy to assemble, no issues whatsoever. C52 and C42 make something that is going on the tail. The joint here lacks in authority, and both parts should be aligned carefully when the glue is applied. Also, the trailing edge does not meet really well here. Some pressure is needed, but this always makes it possible for some plastic glue to come out of the joint, so pressure should be applied sparingly. Next, on the bottom of the cabin goes part E28, and this is the external load hook. It does stay proud, which maybe is the goal. To mount the belly in place, I'm going to start with the rear bulkhead, because there is a groove in the belly, so this will make sure that all is properly aligned. And I'm going to make my way around the gap with cement SP to weld everything in position. And I'm going to stop from the bulkhead forwards, and I'm not going to continue forward until I am sure that here everything is okay and there are no gaps that need to be addressed at this stage. Moving forward, I'm going to apply some pressure, glue these parts together on the left side of the helicopter. Now we end up having another issue, with both sides being glued right against the edge of the floor of the cockpit. I have this issue here. I somehow lack about half to 1 millimeter of clearance, so I can snug the belly in place. Now I tried to open this up, but as you can see here, this portion of the fuselage is half a centimeter or less, so there is no giving it whatsoever. What I did was, using this scalpel blade, I cut through the glue and essentially broke the joint about from here to about here. Now this will give me the chance to get the belly inside between the fuselage halves, but this will leave some unwanted gap right here where we have the floor. This will be solved rather easily by mounting the door in the closed position. To get the latest updates, join me on Patreon. Link I will leave in the description. Not the most sophisticated solution, but it kinda works. At the front end, there is still some pressure that needs to be exerted in order for the parts to fit together, which is, as I mentioned before, never a good thing. Just like on the other side, I will remove the masks on the cheek windows so that the glue does not seep underneath the tape while I'm gluing the cheek windows to the chin. Alright, I think it will be somewhat suitable to end this episode here. Next up, we're going to continue adding parts to the fuselage, so follow along. And as usual, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, happy modeling, fellas!